Hi. In this video, the next thing we want to do, being that the game almost has all the elements that we need to make it a playable game, and I want to try to wrap this up to put it on the website, is we need to make a menu screen. In the last video, we had a flag that we put in the scene here at the end that if you reach this flag, you will have completed the level. And we also had a score up here to keep track of how many coins you collected along the way and maybe rewarding the player for other things. So now, if this sample scene is our level 1, we could name this scene as level 1. So I could say save scene as, and just give it a name level 1, enter. And then I don't need the sample scene anymore. I could delete that. And now I'm going to have another type of scene that is not for playing the game actually, but this other scene is going to be for the main menu. So we're going to say with level 1 saved now, we're going to have a new scene and everything kind of blanks out again. And what we're going to call this scene is the main menu screen. So I'll say main menu as the name of the scene. And there we go. So now I have the main menu scene, which has nothing in it, and I have the level 1 scene. So the main menu scene, when I go to here, I'm going to basically kind of have some text and maybe some images, to show something exciting about the game. So maybe for a picture, I could have a picture of Mr. Peabody, all right, since he's our main character. And then we could have some text. So we're going to enter the UI text. And the text is going to be in our font that we were using, which is the Alice in Wonderland font. And now let me set up some of these parameters for the text. And you can see it's there. It's really small, but let's make it bigger, like to main menu screen size. And also let's have the text actually say the name of our game, Mr. Peabody. All right, assuming that's the name that we want for this game. So I'm also going to place that in the center of the screen. So I click this button here to open up this positioning thing. And then I hold down the Alt key and press center so Mr. Peabody could be in the center of the screen for the title of the game. And we're going to have two buttons. Let me see that this text, I'm going to name it text title. Okay. And then I'm going to add another UI element. So I go on the canvas element, right click, and I'm going to add a button. All right, and this button is going to be what the user will press if they want to start playing the game. So the button looks like it came out center screen. Let's see if we use this and say bottom. Center screen looks good, and I'll just use pause Y to offset from the center to, yeah, about there. And I want to make the text on the button say start. So the button is an object with a child. The button is the color part over here, the button part, and inside there's a regular text object. So on the text object, I could say what the button says, and I'll say start for that. Okay, and the whole button, I'll call it button start. Button start. Okay, good. Now on the button start, it's a little small. I can increase the size of the button right here with the width and the height. So 60 by 160, and I can increase the font of the text. So I go to text and I can make the font bigger. And I could also set it to our font of Alice in the Wonderland thing. Ooh, when I did that, it made the text really hard to read. Start. There you go. So let's say that the font size is 60, and it looks to me like we're going to have to make our button a little bit bigger. So let's try 80 and 200. Okay. And we have a start button, and I'm going to make a copy of that button right now, duplicate, and this will be our quit button. So I'll call the button quit. Okay. And on the quit button, the text will say, well, let's move the quit button down a little bit first. So here's a start, and I have the quit button selected, and let's just move it down there. And on this button, I'll say the text is quit. Okay, so we got start and we got quit. Basically, that's what we need for this menu. 2 buttons. You're either going to play the game or you're going to quit the game. So on the start button, we want to have some action. So we're going to have to put a script in somewhere that's going to control the actions of these buttons. And since they're part of the canvas, the buttons, I'll put the script on the canvas and I'll just add a component, a new script, and I'll call this main menu. I'll call the script main menu. All right, and if I go back to my assets folder, we should see that script there. Main menu for this menu here. And on this script, I'm going to have 2 functions. One function is going to be public void start game. And another function is going to be public void quit game. Okay. So I'm making them public because the buttons have to connect to these scripts to actually perform the actions. So these scripts are public. These functions are public to be seen outside of the script by the buttons. So if I press the start button over here, you select it. Okay, there's going to be down here at the bottom on click. All right, so I'm going to add an on click thing. And editor and runtime, I'm only going to have it happen at runtime. Then over here, I have to pick the object with the script on it, which is my canvas. Find it. All right, so once again, I click the start button. All right, and the object that's going to have the script is this one, the canvas object. So I'm going to drag and drop it in there. And now here I can see the main menu script has the, where's that start game function right there. And then for the quit button, kind of do the same thing. The canvas object has my script. And then over here, I pick from the main menu script, quit game. Okay, so now this is going to go to the script to do whatever it says in those script functions. So like, for example, if I press start over here, I can say debug.log and just print the message start on the bottom to see. And this one could be debug.log, print the message quit. Okay, so we can see that the buttons are going to call these actions. So I'm going to press play and pay attention down here. Whoops, Mr. Peabody just fell down. If I press start or quit, and it looks like I have an error. Let's double click on it to see where it takes us. And oh, it's Mr. Peabody. He's doing animations and he doesn't have the thing to do the animations for. So, all right, so the first thing with Mr. Peabody we have to make sure is, so he doesn't fall down like he just did, is we have to set the gravity to 0. So he kind of just stays in his place. And now if I press play, let's see what happens. We get the Peabody there, and he's moving up and down. If I press start, it's not showing the message at the bottom of the screen. I still have this error message. And it's coming from Mr. Peabody saying that he can't set the move animation. Why? All right, so for the moment, I'm having trouble with Mr. Peabody generating that error message. So let me just hide him for a minute and press play. I want to see if the start and the quit buttons work. So I had the start button. Am I playing? Yeah. All right, so if I press start, you see it gets to the start function. If I press quit, it gets to the quit function. So when I press start, what I want the game to do is load level 1. When I press quit, I want the application to quit. So let me go back to the script here on my canvas, the main menu script. And on the start, what I want it to do is load level 1. All right, so to load a scene from a script, I have to use something in Unity's engine. I have to load the scene management functions right there. And this will be for the scene manager, which will allow me to load another scene. And then inside my start game, I will actually load a scene. So I just type scene manager dot load scene, And the name of the scene I want to load is level 1, right? That's what it's called, level 1. Yeah, level 1. All right, and that should load the scene. Then if for the quit, how do I do quit? It's application.quit. Yeah, it's simply application.quit. So the only time we're going to see the application quit work is when we compile a game, because if we say application quit when we're running it inside of Unity, it's not going to quit Unity for us, okay? So I'll just have the application quit here. It's just to so that when we compile the game and try it, it'll actually work. So let's see here. Let's see what happens. Press play. And when I press the start button, it says level 1 cannot be loaded because it has not been added to the build settings. All right, so that's true. That's true. We have 2 scenes in here, but for the scene manager to work, it has to be added. All the scenes have to be added to the build settings. So how do we do that? We just go to File, Build Settings. And over here, these are all the scenes that would be in our build of the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the open scene, which is main menu, and I'm going to also add level 1. So now these are my 2 scenes, level 1 and main menu, that they're in the build settings. All right, so now I could close that. And now I can press play. And now when I press the start button, it should go to the level 1. And there you go, it goes to level 1. So now all we have to do is after we die in the game, let's save those changes. In the game, when we die, we're just going to have to come back to the main menu, okay? And the person could try to play again or something. So let me go back to the level 1, and let's go look at Mr. Peabody over here and his script, because he's the one that's going to die. All right, and let's say outlining collapse definitions. And let's see, on collision enter, I kind of forgot where we put down how he dies here. Do we make it a function? Let's see, we have the move control, the jump control, the camera control, the die from drop. Okay, this is the dying from a drop, sound play die. All right, so this is dying from drop. And what I want to do is probably make a function to do the dying. So let me just add a function here, private void, because when he dies, there's going to be a lot of actions that we have to take place. So this is one way to detect dying, is that he went past the bottom of the screen. And when he does, we'll do the die actions, which we're putting in there. So over here, we'll just call our function now instead, die. Darn it, I just deleted a bracket. Ugh. Undo, 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 undo. All right, here we go. We'll call the die function. Now here in the die function, it plays the dying sound. And we're going to want to hear the end of the dying sound before we go ahead and go back to the main screen. So I'll say over here to invoke back to main menu after sound die dot clip dot length. So after this sound die plays, I'll go back to the main menu. We'll call this function right here to go back to the main menu. Okay, back to main menu. And what that's going to have to do is the same thing that we did in main menu. It's going to have to use the scene manager. So if we're using the scene manager, we're going to have to include it in our using statements. So for us up here, using Unity engine.scene manager. Ooh, is that what I called it? Scene manager? Scene management, sorry. What's all that? Scene. Oh, come on, IntelliSense, work for me. Scene management. Manager. Okay, that's just a comment to remind me why I'm using this using statement. And then down here, we'll have to say scene manager dot load scene main menu. Okay. Boom. Yep, because over here we did load scene level 1. And over here after we die, we'll say load scene main menu. After we die. All right. So let's see what happens. Let's play the game from the main menu. It's reading the script. So let's go to the main menu. So we start the game from the main menu over here, press play. And we press start. Now, I want to have it that when I die, it goes back to the main menu. So, but it waits until the sound finishes playing, and then it goes back to main menu. All right, so now we got some kind of thing going on here. So the way we had it go back to the main menu when we die, we could probably have it do something else like go to the next level when we win. So right now we only have one level, and basically we have worked out all the I guess the kinks for our game. The main menu, I could do things like add music and maybe some more pictures and stuff, but basically this is the idea. Oh, I think I finally come to a point where I could wrap this up and put this game on my website. So thanks everybody for joining me along this journey. The rest of the work I'll probably do behind the scenes with everybody watching as I clean it up before I put it up on the site. If you have any questions, just ask down in the bottom comments or email me from my website, omarvision.com. Thanks.